Good morning, it's Harvey Jackson. We're just going to go through some of the top news items here. USDA Today at 11 o'clock. I don't have any predictions on this one. All I will say is the last two USDA reports in a row, they tightened up corn. And with the way corn is actually performing these days, which in my opinion, the corn is pulling up all of the other commodities right now. And we got to be thankful for that. And the tariff man vows more tariffs, of course. So we'll just get into it here. So interesting. I just looked at X here earlier, and this article or whatever posting is just showing where the crops are, what percent of all the crops are grown, and it's quite interesting to see where some of these, 67% of Iowa, 67.9% of Iowa is in cropland. Illinois is 62. Some of these I states would have over the 50%, but North Dakota is actually 51 as well. So significant. But when you look at a global scale, and this is a kind of a cool website, it's a global land cover map, and basically just crops as well. But when you look at it, the pink is where crops are, and it's quite interesting. Like you can see that Ukraine and Russia, their key growing areas are very pink as well. But I'm going to zoom in here to India, and it just still blows my mind that you can have that much crop. It seems, I thought it was pretty mountainous in areas too, obviously down along the coastline, but man, oh man, there's a lot of crop growing everywhere. The small acre farmer definitely knows how to grow food for their families, that's for sure. So here's the USDA estimates. I'll probably talk about it tomorrow if there's anything earth-shattering. The key one that I keep talking about or thinking about is actually what are they going to print for the current USDA carryout, the world carryout, and then the South America production. And of course, what's most significant for the South America production will be the soybeans, followed by their second season corn, and that could actually have an impact on pricing for sure. Just talking about canola a little wee bit here. Craig Turner he's just talking about the next support and resistance, and the commitment traders went from they bought 27,000 contracts in the last USDA or last commitment traders report, and the open interest dropped as well. So obviously that's telling you that their short covering has been happening in canola. But now that the stats can came out, it's actually showing a short. A tightness of the canola, and finally it's rallying on its own as well. So you can see here, gold has actually had a bit of a run, and there's a couple different articles I quote here. Is demand squeezes India and others for the leasing rates of the gold, and it's, you can see here, this is a crazy lift, all-time highs, even though it has pulled back slightly as well on the daily chart. But biggest reason is tariffs. The uneasiness of what Trump is doing there is actually having people flee to gold and that market itself. And tariffs on other metals just kind of emphasizes the reason to be into gold as well. Malaysia palm stocks hit 21-month low. I expect to see more emphasis or moving into this contract as well. Here, I think Karen Brown kind of talks about it right here. The bean oil, palm oil spread began correcting in January, and then you come up with this year. So you have a correction to what's normal, and then a tightness of supply again. We're getting hit with some cold weather. I can see this right, and then as we speak, we're pretty cold here right now, and you can just see here there's weather statements coming out, extreme cold, and the same thing in Canada. We've got our extreme cold warnings here as well, minus 40 with wind chill, and that's pretty darn cold. So, and I think everybody's seeing it, but we'll see if travel is going to slow down or not. So just having a quick look at the markets, canola's up $2 to $3 or $2 to $3. European rapeseed is trying to catch up again, so it's up like 5. And soybean oil is up just slightly. Palm oil is up again as well. Crude oil is up at $73 now, and soybeans up 4.5 cents. And your spring wheats are all green here as well. So good green day on a USDA day. Waiting for those results to see what that's going to do. So here's canola, and what I did here is just try to capture a couple highs here and look at whether we're crossing over, and it also gives you a value in there as well. Like basically, if we go another $5 to $6 higher, we would be breaking this up this upward trend. But then when you make it a continuous chart, so a daily nearby or continuous chart, we actually broke through it already. So it's just where those peaks, those height of those peaks actually go in the past would change that steepness of the line. And a lot of times I'm looking back to figure this out as well. And yeah, it's just something I didn't notice until today, that we had 3 days of above the continuous uptrend. So here's your canola in November. And looking back to see where these values are, we're getting into and above the 78.6 retracement value, and that's when it gets a little bit more volatile. And you can see that when you get into the 78.6, you get longer candles. So if we can maintain this upward trend, we can see a little bit more volatility here as well. Rapeseed still above the trend line, and again, everybody could draw them a little bit differently, but nice green day yesterday or today, trying to catch up to canola. And what that has done is went from actually touching yesterday of the $100 differential. So that what that is European rapeseed priced in Canadian dollars minus the front month of canola. It was $100. Now it's showing 107 with European rapeseed rallying faster than the Canadian canola. So here I put soybean oil and just a little bit of a blurb of Bollinger Bands. I don't often use them because it's just talking about volatility. But you can see after the Trump scare that they put on, or the tariff, now that the bands are starting to narrow in pretty good. That means less volatility. But we also have this futures month's actually going to be rolling over at some point here too. So volatility will maybe pick up a little wee bit as we roll out. Palm oil, pretty good, nice little leg here. Went above this the 46.30 ringgit, and now we're trying to approach this 78.6 retracement value. And if you look at it on just a different timeline, same thing, but it looks even steeper on the April month than on the March month. So here's your soybean seed price as well. Green still supported on this upward trend, and we'll see if we can hold. It seems like we definitely go a few days of the downward trend before we bounce off of it, but we'll see if we can continue that kind of same kind of trend there. The reason soybeans are important and possibly could fail is this area right here. This is a 7-day weather forecast, and it doesn't look all that rainy, if that means anything, but that's where harvest is happening, right? So harvest is happening in that area. It looks like you're getting some rains in Argentina where it's needed, but you're also getting some opening up of the skies there to be able to get harvest progressing in the Monegasco area, and that will be favorable or that would actually maybe put some pressure on soybeans. So we got bullish factors on our canola, but we got bearish factors potentially on soybeans, and we'll see what the USDA gives us here. So I put corn first because I think corn is king, but the corn, my thoughts are with the length in the managed money and tightness of the world stocks is actually, in my mind, is maybe pulled up all of the cereals as well. So you can see that the corn is actually bouncing off, but you see how this has actually gained some strength in the March. And then when you look at the continuous, there's a reason why I have this blue line. That's the length of the upward trend, and that upward trend has been broken. So which is kind of cool. So if we look at this here, your December new crop wheat is actually on a pretty good uptrend, approaching this 38.2 retracement value. I still think this would be a good place to get started to get some sales to get made. Hard red winter, there's been a couple of down days, but green still supported, and you can probably have a support line here as well, and supported by the short-term moving average. And Chicago wheat, same thing. And here I put the Bollinger Bands on cattle to just show the opposite. The bands widened out with these bigger moves, so the volatility is a little bit higher. And the same thing with hogs. The Bollinger Bands are starting to widen out here as well, and that just means that it's more volatile. And you can see what's happened here. The high is back here, but we've got some big waves going on, and that's because of just some of the pork shortages and disease and whatever else that's happening. And we'll chat with you tomorrow.